Oh, Mom, it's Fred.
Oh, hi. Oh, my God.
Sure, I missed you, Dad.
I miss you too.
After speaking with these families, I realized how important it was for them to do all the right things to get to this moment. And from what I gathered after reporting on this, it was very much worth it for all of them.
Ready for this? I've been ready for a long time. You have no idea.
Paul and David, father and son, growing up, David tells me they had an absolutely incredible relationship. Paul began to age, as all people do. So eventually, both of David's parents were put into the nursing home. And unfortunately, David's mom passed away a couple of years ago. Multiple times a week, he'd go visit. He would bring him some of his favorite candy. And that interaction, that love, that togetherness was stripped from them when COVID hit hard and these nursing homes locked up. Paul was already missing home. Paul was already missing his wife. Paul was already missing David. Now David can't even see him. So they were stuck doing Zoom calls and FaceTimes just like the rest of us for a year's time.
Hey, Dad, how you doing today?
Paul is in his 80s. When you're that old, every second matters. Every single second matters. And they literally spent a year losing time. So it was hard on both of them.
Year's a long time.
The reason this story kind of came about is because David reached out to us and said, hey, I really want to know what in the world is going on with these nursing homes because I'm not getting any answers. And he had reached out to the Department of Public Health here. He reached out to Environmental Control here, and they're all telling him like, look, right now it's locked down. It's going to be locked down. And he was okay with that, but he wanted to know what we were working towards so that he could see a light at the end of the tunnel and know when he might be able to see his dad again. After the first story we ran, we managed to get some answers from the state at the state level. In order for nursing homes to open up, there had to be a certain level of vaccination and a certain rate of positivity. So at this particular nursing home, like 98% of the people were fully vaccinated, which was fantastic. And the county had below a 10% COVID positivity rate. And there hadn't been any positive COVID cases in the facility for 14 days. So David was able to walk through those doors for the first time in months.
I'm very excited about it. This is a day that I've been waiting for quite a while. Is this where I check in?
It is.
I was actually in the room with his dad before he was, and his dad was so excited. He was so ready. The moment David comes down the hall and he turns that corner and sets eyes on his dad for the first time in months, words can't describe how incredible that was.
Hey, Dad, how you doing? I'm gonna sneak a hug. Sure, I missed you, Dad.
I miss you too.
It was absolutely incredible. I was a little nervous myself because I could feel David's anticipation and I could feel his anxiety about not having this opportunity for so long. It was easy to tell they were really, really close.
I know that he had to miss the personal touch. I mean, it means, I'm sorry. It means a lot to us. It was great, wasn't it, Dad? It's okay to talk over the phone, but when you can actually feel somebody and get them a pat on the back, it's a big difference, isn't it? It is.
Stories like David and Paul's reunion, or stories like vaccination numbers going up, or case counts going down, or schools opening, or businesses reopening, or whatever it may be, we get to cover those now. And there was a point in time when it felt like that would never happen. It felt like we would be stuck in this wave of just gloom and doom forever. And yet now here we are. These good stories are coming out of it. People are smiling again. That light at the end of the tunnel really is closer than it's ever been. I think everybody has lost something, whether it be normalcy or a certain way of life or a job or unfortunately a loved one or a family member. I'm really hoping that people who see Paul and David's story take away from it a sense of hope and they walk away feeling something they might not have been feeling. to know this is happening all over the state, all over the country right now. This exact same interaction where these people who are in these nursing homes are getting able to see their loved ones, see their family members. It's incredible.
This reunion was so touching to everybody out in our community. It was such a joy to meet Paul and Fred because those guys have really done everything you could possibly do to make Fred's mom's time in her nursing facility as painless as possible during the pandemic. They missed her so much when she was in the nursing home throughout the pandemic, but they could not go in. They did everything they possibly could to stay in touch with her.
We do a little virtual hug and put our hand up to the glass door, and we touch her, through the glass that way to be as close to her as we could.
Mary is a real hugger. She loves to hug. Or just sit there and hold her hand.
That was the one thing that was missing, that human touch, that hug. Mary turned 100 right before the pandemic began. And some of the final pictures that Fred and Paul have with Mary are at her 100th birthday with a huge crowd. So by February of 2021, Mary had turned 101 years old. They couldn't have a party for her in person, but this reunion happened shortly thereafter, and it was just about the best gift they could all imagine.
He let us in here. Just being able to get in that building and hold on to it for a few seconds was the most precious thing I could ask for.
The nursing facility where Mary lives, they had a waiting list for people who wanted to see their loved ones. Fred and Paul got right on the list. And so they did everything that they needed to do to make that happen. And that included getting their COVID shots and making sure they passed a rapid COVID test the day of the visit. And of course, Mary had her shots.
After not being able to hug her for an entire year, I was not going to let that moment pass.
It was just wonderful. The biggest gigantic hugs from both of the girls.
Barbara and Jim are the grandparents of Clara and Caroline. Barbara is a grandmother who's totally invested in seeing her grandchildren all the time. She usually drove about an hour away 3 times a week to help with childcare for her granddaughters. Their mom, Crystal, is a family practice physician, knew how important it was for them to basically, in her words, do what she had been telling her patients, and that is keep distanced. She knew it was important that they wear masks all the time, but most important, she knew that visits with her parents and the grandkids, that wasn't going to be safe for the grandparents in particular. They stayed separate until they knew it was going to be safe.
Once we were fully vaccinated, and then the new CDC guidelines that came out, we were definitely ready to embrace those and know that it was safe for us to get together again.
It was so wonderful. I mean, just to all be together and like old days again, old times.
She recounted hearing on March 12th that she couldn't come to be with the grandkids, and it was March 13th, 1 year later, when they finally reunited.
Don't waste any time. Be with your loved ones as much as you can.
I think that's so much of why this story resonated with people. It's because they can all put themselves in the shoes of Paul and Fred or the Ortman-Maisley families. They can all relate to wanting to see their loved ones again.
Just really encourage everyone, when your chance is up to get the vaccine, I think it is what we all need to do and to get back to whatever the new normal is.
We all want to have that special moment where we hug our loved ones, our grandparents and our parents for the first time in such a long time. I'm thrilled about these moments that we can bring to our viewers that illustrate the joy of getting back together. It's just been a wonderful arc of how this virus has gone from bringing the horrible and sad and heartrending news about the virus's spread and the deaths that resulted, the lives lost, the jobs lost, the businesses that had to go under, that's all been so heavy. But I think as we sort of see the light at the end of the tunnel, it's important that we bring those stories to our community too, because I think that's what people need right now. They need to know that there's hope.